Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to my beloved lecturer Dr. Najwa, and my fellow friend. My name is Muhammad Abdullah Rahimi bin Muhammad Yusri, and this is my group member Muhammad Adlan and Muhammad Daniel. What is a hazard? Hazard is any source of potential damage, harm, or adverse effect on something or someone. For example, wet floor, knife, and so on. There are several types of hazard that exist, such as physical hazard, chemical hazard, and biological hazard, and so on. In our video, we will tell you a little bit about chemical hazard. Okay, what is the chemical hazard? Chemical hazard is simply the risk involved with using a chemical, for example, pesticide, detergent, neurotoxin, and so on. Okay, there are several types of chemical hazard. Which is liquid, gas, dust, vapor, mist, and so on. This chemical hazard can lead to health hazard if not taken care of. Okay. Next, there are several routes that chemical can enter our body, which is through inhalation. Okay, it can occur when chemical become airborne in the form of a vapor, mist, or dust, allowing them to be inhaled into the lung. Next is ingestion. It can occur when hazardous chemicals are eaten or swallowed. This can happen because the food we eat or our hand are exposed to chemical and contaminated. Okay, next routes that chemical can get into our body is injection. Through injection, it can occur when a sharp object, for example needle, puncture the skin and inject a chemical, such as a drug, directly into the bloodstream. Lastly, the route that chemical can get into our bodies is through contact or absorption. It can occur when our skin contact with exposed skin allow a chemical to be absorbed into the body. That's all from me. Next, Adlal will take over. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Okay, nice to meet you. It's been a long time for me to do a video like this. I think maybe like in semester 2 for Mandarin, I think. So for this video, I would like to talk to you guys about the chemical hazard, which include its risk factor and its effect towards environment, towards human life, and the last one is towards our place. Guys, before we start talking about its risk factor and its chemical effect towards human life, I would like to show you guys what chemical substance that we easily get for our household daily activity. So as you can see here, the first one is detergent. Oops, my bad. It's detergent. The second one is we already use for our shelf. So the third one we already use for our motorcycle, like this. 3 motorcycle used for oil. The fourth one is for those who love gardening or farmer always use fertilizer as their plant grow. The fourth one is paint. with this one. This already used for to paint our walls at home. The fourth one is the same one as the oil, but this is for engine oil. The next one is anti-rusted, also can be included in this harmful substance. And the last one is for shoes polish. With shoes polish, both of them is also a dangerous substance to human life, animals, or environment. So this is all I can get and in our household daily life. So right now we're gonna look some of the chemical substance that are available at home which contain Pitograph. As I mentioned earlier, Pitograph is want to alert us about how a chemical can affect our life. So the first one is the oil. The oil, both of the oil has the irritant symbol, which means it can cause irritation to our skin. So as it can go through our skin or absorption. So the next one is the anti-rust chemical substance, which it contains flammables and hazard. So this substance, if been exposed to this fire source, can cause explosion, can cause flammables to our property or to a person. If this chemical located at first near the fire source. For the head hazard, it also can cause a variety of hazard if we drink it accidentally, if we spill it accidentally, if we something else. So the next one is the same one as the anti-rust. It's a shave one. It's a shave gillet, which has a flammable symbol. Also can cause explosion at the fire source. So the next one is fertilizer. So fertilizer should be environmentally damaging, which it can cause variety of effects towards our environment. Let's say I put this fertilizer on the ground there. When it contact with the rain and dissolve with water, it can leaching through the soil and goes through water supply, which is groundwater. And then the water that has been polluted by this substance can be brought back to the sea, and then the water cycle process will be repeated but a different content of water, which is polluted water. The polluted water can bring a very bad effect to human health, especially for those humans who live at near sea, fishermen, and the nutrient in this thing also can cause eutrophication when it become excessive of nutrient. The next and the last one is shoes polish. Shoes polish also has the same type of Pitograph, which is flammable. Like I said before, it can cause explosion, fire at the fire source. So that's all for me from now. For the next topic, I would like to talk about the risk factor from chemical hazard. Risk factor from chemical hazard, there are gonna be 6 types. The first one is toxicity. The more toxic the substance can be, the more harmful it can cause to our health. So the second one is called as how the chemical going through our body. It also known as route of exposure. There are 4 types of route of exposure. They call as inhalation, digestion, injection, and the last one is called as absorption or skin contact. for inhalation, for this topic already been explained by Abdullah in the last video. So what I gonna do is just give a few examples from inhalation, injection. So for inhalation, what can I give is, the first one is exhaust. As we know, exhaust will emit a few dangerous gas such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, which is very harmful to all living things, including environment. The effect of carbon monoxide towards health is it can cause us short breathness, and the worst is death. For the third one, I call it a dose. A dose, what is the meaning by dose? Dose is how much the chemical substance itself is going through our body, animal's body, or the worst one is environment. How the chemical substance, how much the volume chemical substance that pollute the river. So for the fourth one is called as duration. What is the meaning by duration? Duration is how longer you've been exposed to the source of hazard. Let's say somebody has been exposed to the chemical hazard for 10 years. Compared to the 1 years, the 10 years person should have more adverse health effect compared to 1 person. The fifth one is called as different chemical combination. The combination we can see is when we combine one chemical into another chemical in a lab, whether at school, university, or at Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. So the sixth one is called as individual difference. What is the meaning by individual difference? Individual difference, let's say I took a baby and an adult. So as we know, lead is one of the most dangerous contaminant in the water. If the effect between the baby and adult is different, because the lead itself can destroy or can halt the development of baby brain, or even worse, death. Meanwhile, adult maybe stomach poisoning, maybe like nervous system like that, but the effect is worse more to the baby than adult. 6 risk factor that I have been explained. Let's repeat. First one is toxicity. The second one is how the chemical going through our body. The third one is dose. The fourth one is duration, and the fifth one is different combination, and the last one is called as individual difference. So the next topic, what I'm going to talk next is the effect of the chemical. There are two type effect of the chemical hazard. First one is called as acute. Acute is, what is the meaning by acute is that the symptom will show up immediately after a certain amount of time of exposure. It means short time period. Meanwhile, for the chronic type is when a symptom does not occur immediately. It does show up after a long time of exposure. The difference between acute and chronic is that acute is short time, immediately show up effect. Meanwhile, the chronic is long term show up effect. So the next I want gonna talk about is Pitograph. Pitograph is must for the chemical substance that can very harmful to people. So what is the meaning by the Pitograph? Pitograph, the purpose is to alert the user about how the chemical substance itself can really affect them, whether it's acute or chronic. So let's see a few examples of the chemical substance that have this kind of symbol. So the first one, there are many symbols that represent as pictogram. the most one that I can find in the house is the flammable one, irritant one, corrosive one, environmental damaging one, and the last one is toxic.
The next day.
Hi guys, so today my team and myself we go to Kajang High School to looking for any kind of chemical that can cause any adverse effect to human health, and the chemical itself cannot be found in the supermarket, at our home, or at the hardware shop and any other place. This type of chemical only can be found in laboratory. So let's go.
5 minutes later.
Okay guys, so this is a science lab for Kajang High School. So before this video has been taken, we have been asked for the permission from the principal of the Kajang High School and the lab assistant from the science lab itself.
A few moments later.
Okay guys, so right now we are in the chemical rooms where there are many kinds of chemicals such as sodium hydrogen carbonate, and then they also calcium chloride, they also have magnesium, they also have benzoate, lycopodium, and many other chemical hazard that can cause adverse effect towards human. So that's the example for this kind of paint, right? So the danger of the chemical itself can be told by the pictogram here. In here we have like a flame type of symbol and the human health. These both represent the effect it can be to human health, to our home, and then to other place. Stop.
A few inches later.
For conclusion, there are many chemicals actually can lead to the accident such as flammable, corrosiveness, health effect, irritant, and many others. The accident only occur if the necessary step is not taken, such as the student itself likes to play around in the laboratory, or the teacher itself does not give reminder to the student that playing in the lab itself is very dangerous. Alright, so that's all contribute to the accident which can lead to chemical hazard.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nurdin Hakim bin Azli, and today I want to talk about how to prevent chemical hazard. First, store all material properly, separate, incompatible, and store in ventilated, dry, cool area. Second, hazardous chemical must be kept away from our food and water source. Third, follow all established procedure and to work precisely as you been trained. Next, read the label and the safety data sheet or SDS before using any material to make sure you understand hazard and precaution. Others, when working with chemicals, wear protective equipment such as mask, glove, or other appropriate clothing such as goggles and long pants. Next, calculate the correct amount of fertilizer and do not apply right before or after heavy rainfall. Last but not least, do not use excessive grease or lubricants on equipment. Lastly, for company, it is advisable to have a safety commit in each department which is responsible for safety on their employee. For the conclusion, we should be more careful when handling a hazardous chemical at home or our workplace. Improperly used chemical substance will cause a variety of adverse effects on human, animal, and environment, whether it physical or health hazards. That's all from me. Thank you very much.